Hi, guys. So today we are continuing on in our story. We've been talking about David, and last week we talked about how, you know, King Saul had been like chasing David, wanting to kill him, but then eventually like came to his senses and was like, "David, you're not my enemy." Um, and so in today's story, David was the king. And that's very exciting for all the people because everyone loves David so much, right? He's like the hero. And the other great thing is that when David becomes king, God makes three promises with David. And I think they're promises that are even important for us today to know about God and to know what he cares about. So, David becomes king, and God makes three promises with David. And the first promise is that, we talked about like the cycle of judges and what always happened in the cycle of judges, that after the people were disobedient, they were conquered by another nation. And this just happened over and over and over. Imagine like being conquered over and over and over. Like, how tired would you get? How frustrated would you get? How upset would you get? Right? Of course you would feel that way. And so God promises David that there will be a time of peace. There will be a time of peace, right? That must have been so relieving to hear. So relieving to hear. And then the second promise that God makes David. In this promise, God tells David, he's like, we've been traveling. I brought my people out of Egypt. I set them free and I brought them here. And now this is their home. This is their home. And what does home feel like? Home is where you feel safe. Home is where you go to rest. Home is where you are with the people you love, right? All those nice things. And God says, "You are home." Man, they must have loved hearing that. And the cool thing was, I don't know if you remember, but way back when the people had left Egypt, they built a special house for the presence of God to dwell in. And it was called the tabernacle, right? And it was cool because the people were traveling all the time. And so the special house that they built, they could like carry it along with them, right? So God would always be with them. But because they were finally home, God says, "I want you to build me a permanent home here." But David, it's not going to be you. It's actually going to be your son. Your son will build me this home. But I think that's cool just because even today, what does that say about God? It says that God permanently wants to be with us, right? All the time. That's how much he loves us, that he would want to be with us all the time. And then the third promise. The third promise, whew, this is a biggie. It's a big promise because remember, over this whole story of the Bible that we've been talking about, this whole way along, the whole thing has been about what? It's been about God's rescue plan for his people, right? To bring them back to him. Everyone gets to come back to God. And the third promise to David is, he says, "So your son is going to build me this special house, but further down the line, you are going to have a descendant that is going to enact this rescue plan. He's going to carry out this rescue plan. His job is going to be this rescue plan. And David, it's going to be one of your descendants." How do you think that made David feel? That's pretty special, right? That God would choose someone from his family, right? And later on, we'll learn about who that is. Maybe some of you already know. But those are the promises that God made to David, that there would finally be peace in the land, that his people were finally home, and God would live with them forever, and that God had a special rescue plan to bring all his people back together. I think those are some pretty amazing promises. So that's our story for today. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you can be at peace. I hope that you can feel at home and that you know God is with you forever. And I hope you can trust that God is bringing all people together to Him. So I will talk to you next week. Listen to your parents. Eat your vegetables. Make something cool. Do something nice for someone.